Gas station pizza is the breakfast of champions. And today we have something pretty interesting. Today we're going all the way down to Des Moines to pick up an AM3 system that I bought for $15. Well, I'm about to buy for $15 rather. So, I don't know a whole lot about it, but I do know that it comes with an Athlon X2. I'm actually really fond of those CPUs. My first CPU that I bought brand new was an Athlon X2. It also comes with 8 gigs of RAM. I think it has a 450 watt power supply and a case. So that's like 80% of a system. All we need is a graphics card, hard drive, and we'll be good to go. AM3, if I recall, most of the time, had pretty decent Windows XP drivers as well. So this could be a pretty good vintage-ish gaming machine. Or we could throw in like a FX series CPU and run Windows 10 or modern Linux. This could be a reasonably capable PC. I mean, 15 bucks. The power supply is worth 15 bucks. Would I pay 15 for a power supply? No. But I'd pay 15 for a combo. Either way you look at it, we come out ahead here, so I'll make the drive. Speaking of, I'm going to go ahead and get onto the highway and get on down there before I'm late. Last little bit of cleanup, and we're ready. Just got back from Des Moines. I wasn't really able to film on my way back up, but here's what we managed to get our hands on. This is supposed to be the front, and I do have the front panel, but I had been told that it's broken. Looks like we're missing a thumb screw there. That is not a big deal. I'm just glad that the glass is in one piece, even if it is pretty scratched up. Maybe... oh, that's not glass. That's plastic. You know, I guess that explains why it's still in one piece. So let me go ahead and bring the camera over and you can see what I see. This is what $15 got us. Looks like we have an EVGA 450 watt power supply. Super happy about that. EVGA makes really, really high quality power supplies. Not really sure why this isn't plugged in. Seems fine. Yeah, so we're supposed to have 8 gigs of RAM. Let's go ahead and pop that out. Honestly, this computer looks pretty clean. Cleaner than I'm used to, at least. Yeah, that's a 4 gig stick. The other one's probably also 4. Pop it out anyway. This is nice RAM. This is the same type of kit that my wife had for her first PC. That's definitely the cooler for an Athlon X2. If I can get it off. Oh my goodness, it is stuck. Okay. Oh, come on. Oh. Yeah, that thermal paste has expired. Jeez. Might actually need the rubbing alcohol for that. Okay. Yep, that's an Athlon 2. Where's the model? I don't know. Let me get my isopropyl alcohol and try and clean some of this up. That is pretty gross. Well, I had it in my hands mere moments ago, setting it off to the side, and I've lost it. So we're just gonna use some regular cleaner, and that actually seems to be doing a really good job. It's just that dollar store Law's totally awesome stuff. It's really good. Now let's try and use it on this heat sink, because that is good and cruddy. Yeah, that's working. That's working really well. I don't know if I even want to keep using this heatsink. I mean, it's fine. Really get in there. It's probably good. That's clean. There's like no dust in that. No dust buildup on the board either. That is genuinely impressive because these these downdraft coolers really like to cake the dust onto the motherboard. So this was either used in a very clean environment or it wasn't used very much. Where's my screwdriver? There it is. So, for 15 bucks, we got a power supply, an AM3 motherboard, AM3 Plus, sorry, cooler, CPU, and one fan. That's a really good deal. I will say that I noticed at least one screw is loose. It's missing quite a few of the screws actually. There's missing one there, there, and there. So that one's loose too, actually. Is this one loose? Yes, it is. What? I wonder if this person just threw this together real quick using their old stuff, or if it's really just been loose this whole time. I'm not going to replace those missing screws. Instead, we're going to go for gold. We're just going to repaste this CPU. And see how much of a gaming machine we can get for 15 bucks. That was hard to get off. It should be much easier to put back in. Oh, I was wrong. Oh, get in there. Okay. That's good. We're going to put our 8 gigs of RAM back in. This is good stuff. This is clean too. I'm impressed. If I can get it to go back in. There we go. There's one. Doesn't want to slide in super clean. 2. Did I see? Why is it missing so many screws? Why are they all loose? This thing was barely held in there. Wow. Huh. I'm actually going to plug in this rear fan. Wait a minute. That 4-pin's not plugged in. Why is that 4-pin not plugged in? Oh, we got a SATA cable. Where's the CPU 4-pin? Here we go. Oh, it's this kind. Interesting choice to not use any of the space in the back of the case. I think it's pretty safe to say that this was not somebody's active computer. I'm pretty sure he just threw together whatever parts he had and sold it as fast as he could. Maybe it works. So, we are going to need a graphics card. Let me grab whatever is closest that has a VGA output. Looks like that's going to be... That's not VGA. There we go. Looks like it's going to be an 8400 GS today. This is just for testing. We will upgrade this quite substantially here in a few minutes. Oh, there's a screw there. Barely held in place. Okay, let's see if this thing even works. Let's go ahead and get this VGA plugged in, get this out of here. We are going to use the scissor method again for turning on the PC. Once I find the power cord, there we go. I also need a keyboard. This has a single PS2 port, so we can use this keyboard. Now the big question, for 15 bucks, does this even work? Front panel, let's see. Power button. Well, the fans are spinning, and that back fan does work. We've got signal. Try to get into the setup here. Nope. It looks like it works though. Is it delete maybe? Who makes this board? Asus? I think so. Maybe not. Okay. Looks like the BIOS battery needs to be replaced. That's not super surprising. System information. It sees 8 gigs of RAM. It is an Athlon 2 X2 260. The very first computer that I built with brand new parts had an Athlon 2 X2 760, I think, maybe 860K, that's what it was. I still have that somewhere. So we probably could throw that in here. But we're going to try and keep this as simple as it is. So far, we are super ahead. I mean, we got effectively a fully functional PC minus, a graphics card and maybe some storage. So, we're happy so far. Now the question is, what about the front panel? Well, let's have a look at that. This is everything that came with the computer. Aha, I see. Now he said the power button was broken completely, but the buttons, those feel fine. Cooler Masters. This was like this. This probably would have been mounted up here somewhere. Is that all that it gave me? Yeah. Okay. If he'd had the plastic bit, that presumably goes up here. Wow, this is just all kinds of busted, isn't it? Got that back in place. This is where all the dust is. But I don't have the plastic part to mount the... This would have been up here. There's probably nothing wrong with this, but that does mean this case is going to be difficult to use. We're going to try it anyway. We're going to just slide this through here. And we'll go ahead and plug in our USB 3. Okay. For a second I thought that one of the pins was bent, but it looks okay. USB 2. And our front panel header. Power switch here. Hard drive LED. know that you can't see much. I do apologize for that. Reset switch. And power LED. I just kind of want to see if this front panel even functions. Because if it does function, we can just cover the back in hot glue, maybe cover some of this stuff as well, and it'll be perfectly safe to just hold outside the case. Oh, that's right, HD audio as well. Where's that? There it is. Okay. I don't think that this CPU has onboard graphics. Maybe it does? I don't think so. But I kind of want to see. I've already taken out the 8400 GS. Now, do we, number one, have a functioning front panel? Let me adjust the camera. There we go. Power switch. Yeah, that works fine. That's going to be a power LED. We don't have a hard drive, so hard drive LED, which is over here, won't do anything. Yeah, front panel works just fine. And we do have onboard graphics. Okay. So, let's see. As of this moment, I have spent, as far as everything in this case, $15. I tightened a couple of screws and just plugged this in. It's dangling out the front, obviously. And we have 99% of a working PC. You get some storage in here. Hell, you don't even need a SATA cable. It's already got one. Get some storage in here, and you'd be good to go. Throw Linux on there for free. You've got a pretty good little YouTube machine. Now, with this power supply, we should be able to handle some fairly decent graphics cards. I don't know what I want to go with, though. We don't want to go crazy high because this CPU that's going to hold us back. But I also don't want to go super weak either, otherwise we just won't be able to play games. So I'm going to stew on that for a minute, and then we'll be back. I have made my decision. We're going to use this GTX 960. Pretty decent pairing. Again, the CPU will hold us back, but we don't care that much. And I got this card for free, technically. Some friends gave it to me. At the time, they were trying to be nice because, well, I was still running a 750 Ti. So, I think they might watch my videos. I appreciate you. Genuinely. Okay. So let's get this card plugged into power. I know that we've got a 6 plus 1. There we go. So, yeah, I really want to fix that, but I kind of don't care at the moment. Pretty sure this 960 works, but I've never actually tested it. So let's pop that power in. Oh, you know what, we'll just use this one, it's easier to manipulate. And it's a 960, we don't have to go with perfect installation. Ideally, if you were using a higher power graphics card, you'd want to use this one as opposed to this one, just because it's not looping out of it. But again, doesn't really matter in this case. That's secured. Got this 256 gig SK Hynix SSD that a viewer sent in. I really appreciate that again. And that's it. That's a whole PC. For me, I'm out of pocket $15. Now, the 960, you can probably pick one of those up for like $35 on eBay. I'm trying to get this stuff. Wow, they really messed this up. They must have tried to force this back on there when it wasn't lined up. I bet you that's what broke the front panel stuff. Let's get this much more carefully lined up than they had. Trying to do this without breaking anything. They really, really messed this up. Hey, we're good. Nice. This is a really scuffed PC, and I'm not sorry. Okay. Let's get our fake glass side panel back on with our 3 thumb screws. Oh my god, so there's 2 of these nice flat ones that they use for the side panel. And then there's this one, which appears to be not even from this computer. They definitely just kind of threw in whatever they could find and built this to sell. Yeah. What can you do, I guess? It's not glass. It doesn't really matter if it's super well secured. Just so long as it doesn't fall off. So in theory, we have a full PC. Now where is my DVI to VGA adapter? I need that. Uh-oh. Okay, couldn't find it, so we're going to use a DisplayPort to VGA adapter. Should still work just fine. It would just be more convenient to use DVI to VGA. So, get this stuff out of here. Keyboard. PC. And if you don't have a lot of money, this would be acceptable, having this hang out at the top. Can you even see that? Let me adjust the camera. Oh. Oh no, the feet are melting. That's disgusting. Also, this back side panel isn't properly secured. Let me adjust the camera. Also, we have a mouse. Get that plugged in. Get our keyboard plugged back in. And I need Windows 10. Oh no, I'll be right back. Again. Alright, got Windows. We're going to go ahead and secure this. I wanted to hot glue it down, but I can't find my hot glue gun. So we're just going to use some double-sided tape. I'm sure that'll definitely hold it in place and won't cause any issues. If I can even get the... Wow. The backing doesn't want to come off. There we go. There's one. Now we want a second one. This side. Really, I should be cleaning this first, but the truth is I will be replacing this with hot glue later, so I don't care if it doesn't stay super well. It has to survive one video and that's it. Okay, so right about there. Yeah, that's pretty good. It's not pretty good. It wants to come right off. Okay. There we go. Good enough. So what we're going to do now, number one, is make sure that everything is functioning, especially with this new card. That's actually pretty sturdy. And as long as we see something on the screen, which I think we're about to, VGA, there we go. Okay. Now it's time to install Windows 10. I don't think there's going to be any problem with this, but just in case, we'll go ahead and film. Oh, that's right with that. I'm stupid. Okay. Yeah, this isn't staying very well, but I knew that would happen. I don't know where my hot glue gun is. I really wish I did. Oh, you bastard. Okay. While this is installing, I'm going to have to find that hot glue gun. This is, yeah, the double-sided tape's a little old and not nearly sticky enough. Okay, we forgot to replace the BIOS battery. Okay, let's do that. Okay, I have reapplied the tape, so maybe this will actually stay a little better. Then again, maybe not. Hold that for a second. I mean, so far so good. Let's see if we can boot into our Windows installer. That would be nice. I would like that. That's all I really want. Oh, that's right. I just replaced the BIOS battery. We're gonna have to set all the values in the. I didn't plug the monitor back in. On the plus side, this is staying for now. Okay, let's get Windows installed. See its screen. Alright, F1 to run setup. We're just going to go ahead and March 16th, 2025. I think it's about 8 p.m. ish. Yeah, that's good. Save changes. In theory, we might actually be good to go now. There we go. Okay, SanDisk. This is old enough to where I might have to put the BIOS into UEFI mode instead of working automatically. But we're going to let this sit for a bit. Sometimes the installer does take a little while to load. Okay, we're probably fine. Honestly, at this point, we should be pretty much good to go. The only catch is if the Windows 10 installation media doesn't see our SSD, which I have seen before in some systems. Let's see what we get. Oh, that Athlon X2 is chugging. Okay, we're good. Perfect. I'm gonna install Windows, throw in a couple of games so we can test. I don't know how well we're going to run these games. We only have a dual-core CPU, and this is a bulldozer architecture, I believe. So, yeah, not the strongest cores, and there's only 2 of them. But if we're lucky, we might get a reasonable frame rate, thanks to our over-spec'd graphics card. Anyway, I'll see you when we are on the desktop. And there we have it. Honestly, this has been a pretty decent experience from start to finish. Pleasantly surprised given the rather low spec nature of the CPU, but that is what we do here, isn't it? This AM3 platform sits right in the crossroads of just new enough to be more than capable as a modern gaming machine if you threw in the right CPU. This is the wrong CPU. But we're working with what we have. But it's also old enough to where there is full driver support for Windows XP. So you could, using this CPU, make a little Windows XP machine. It would work perfectly for that. But right here today, we want to see what it can do with modern-ish video games. Unfortunately, due to the low-spec nature of the CPU, we will not be recording with OBS. Spoiler alert, I've already tried. It functions, but, and I don't know how well this is going to show without me zooming in too much, but just, it's not great. This is the recording. This did not happen in the actual gameplay. So what we're going to do is the old-fashioned point the camera at the screen. So without further ado, let's play some games. And here we go. First off, we have Dark Souls 3. And unfortunately, I could not actually find my controller for this, so we're going to do mouse and keyboard just for a little bit. Go ahead and just make ourselves a character here. Sure. We don't care how well it runs, as long as it runs. And by that, I suppose I should add the caveat that we do care a little bit how it runs, because this game has a minimum frame rate. If you don't get a certain amount of performance, you can't play online. And I believe that is 10 to 15 frames per second, so we want to at least get that, but... Oh yeah, we're fine. Where's... Oh, that was a heck of a stutter. But... Oh, wow. Maybe that's just the loading area. Now, this isn't a super great experience, but I'm seeing numbers of... Alright, what's the A button? On the keyboard. There we go. I'm seeing close to 40 frames per second sometimes. Now, that stuttering's not super great, but you know what? I'll take it. Yeah. I could play with this. I could work with this. Next game. Deep Rock Galactic is one of those games that used to run on a Core 2 Duo or an Athlon 64 X2. I know because I've done it. In fact, there's a video on my channel where we did just that. Now, there were some glitches in that video, but that was because we were running out of memory. Unfortunately, with every single update that they've put out there, it has gotten more and more difficult to run. I don't know how well this is going to do. I have set this to minimum settings, and we are getting an awful lot of hitching. That was just in the loading hub. And as I speak, we're taking an awful long time to load into this mission. I don't know about this one. Guess we'll find out, won't we? Oof. Wait a minute. Are we finally loading in? If you have this CPU, Deep Rock might be out of your range. Dark Souls 3 played better than this, just from the little stuff I've done off camera. Oh God. Yeah? That's a wall. I mean, the counter is occasionally saying 45 frames per second, but it doesn't feel like 45 frames per second. Oh, that's a lot of... Oh, that's bad. Let's watch the ship go back up. Oh, that's not bad. I thought it was going to be worse. Actually, it's gotten a lot better. Huh. Not perfect still. Oh, man. That was a solid freeze. Well... Oh. Attempting to fire the weapon was a little difficult. Okay. There's a lot of input lag, too. Jeez. Uh-oh. Yeah, this is... Nah. Let's move on. This ain't working. Now, Battletech is one of those games that's kind of surprisingly difficult to run smoothly. There's always little hitches and stutters, but in this case, we are struggling to get past like 15 to 20 frames per second. And the truth is, that happens no matter what I set the details to. High details, same thing. Low details, same thing. So, I don't know. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to get to combat within a reasonable amount of time, so we might have to skip ahead. Oh, here we go. There's some combat. Let's see what we can get. Oh, that's bad. We saw single digits there for a moment. Okay. I mean, the game's running. Even I would like to see more than 15 frames per second. But it is technically running, so points to the computer, I guess. It's a thing. Yay! Yep, back down to single digits. Okay, let's move on to what I suspect will be the hardest to run game. MechWarrior 5. Well, I saved the best for last. I don't know how well we're going to be able to run this. Hey, this is fine. It's not great. Let's see what it's like when we get into actual combat. That's going to be the real test. Alright, let's see what actual combat looks like. Ooh, there's a little guy over there. I mean, I wouldn't say this is great, but doable. Yeah. I could make this work if I had to. It's, funny enough, playing better than the turn-based Battletech. By nearly double. And it's less stuttery than Dark Souls was. So I'd say this is a pretty decent success. If I had nothing else, I'd be more than happy to play on this PC. But let's go ahead and switch and give our final thoughts on this adventure. Honestly, I'm pretty happy with how this came out. This is a cute little PC. 15 bucks, I'd say that's not too bad. Granted, we did have to put our own GPU and storage in there, but I mean, we got 90% of a PC for less than lunch. So I'd say that's pretty decent. Plus, this system is actually upgradable. If we threw in a proper FX CPU, such as a 6350 or an 8350, we'd have a pretty decent gaming experience on our hands. And again, like I mentioned before, this has full compatibility with Windows XP, so if we really wanted to, we could throw the older operating system on here, maybe even some Linux, something like that, and play older games, or indie games like Binding of Isaac would run just fine on this machine, Lethal Company, stuff like that. So, I'm pretty happy. If you'd like behind the scenes content and exclusive videos, my Patreon is linked down below. That is the best way to support the channel. But we also have a P.O. box for you to send your garbage. I mean, older electronics to. No, in all seriousness, we have gotten so many awesome things through the P.O. box. We have a whole backlog of things just waiting to be covered. We've got a dual Athlon motherboard that someone set in. That is awesome. We have a slightly broken server motherboard that I do want to get working, and more. So, feel free to check that out. And on my Patreon, I actually take the exclusive videos after a few weeks and make them free, so you don't even have to pay me money to see them. Suppose that's it, isn't it? Decent PC. Couldn't find my hot glue gun, so double-sided tape it is. Good stuff. Hopefully you liked it. Thanks for watching.